Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Welcome to Ages of Rock podcast episode 22. This week we're going to continue our discussion on the Kiss albums. We're going to hit Lick It Up and work our way through Alive 3. But before we get to that, we'll talk about a little bit of rock news this week. What you got, Dennis?
Well, I'm going to start out early this week. Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl did a little favor for one of our other friends, or another one of our people that we like. A little GNR news here. Axl broke his foot. So now, Dave set a precedence where now you can't not tour or not show up because of a broken foot or a broken leg because he has the throne. Well, he loaned it to Axl, and now Axl is now touring with Dave Grohl's throne. Isn't that great?
That's good for everybody except the drummer.
Yeah, no shit. Well, Dave forgot to tell them that you need to put the drums to either the left or the right because he's right in the center, and they're blocking the dude.
I don't think Axl cares.
Who's the drummer?
Frank
I don't
Ferrer.
know.
Ferrer, Ferrer.
Who?
Doesn't matter because you're not going to see him anyway because of the throne.
But he was an original. No, he wasn't. He wasn't a Reunion original guy. No. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. But anyway, there again, I did score some tickets for a GNR concert down in Nashville, so I'm real excited about that. I was going to wait to see what they sounded like, and from the first shows that they've had there in Vegas, Axl sounds good. And the band sounds good, so I'm excited. If they can just stay together on it. I did buy insurance on my tickets just in case something fell apart, so I can get my money back. First time I've ever done it, actually. So
it wouldn't be bad. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad show to go to. Noah would probably really like to go, but
there you go.
I don't know if I want to go see a show in a football stadium.
It is.
I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, even at like Rocklahoma or one of those places, you can get yourself worked up to where you're close to the front and at least it's decent. But I don't want to sit in the end zone and look at the other end zone. It's cool.
Well,
I mean, I get it because I think there'll be something cool happen. I mean, I would imagine that Brantley Paisley or one of those, or Eric, Williams or somebody, one of those, country guys that
I think
thinks
they're
he's a
making
pop
up
artist.
names.
I am making a name. All that shit sounds the same.
Tight Pants Bob's going to be up there,
One of those guys will show
But
up.
if you look at their schedule, though, I mean, that's while they're playing is these big, they're playing in Ohio. They're going to be playing the big riverbend and those stadiums. Yeah. And that's what they're going to do. But, I mean, there are tickets available. I was surprised. Like I said, my wife said, he was like going, well, why don't you just check me? I said, Kelly, there's no way that thing's sold out. Boom. What price range you want? We got tickets for you from $49 to $1,800, whichever you want.
Yep.
So
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, I did score some tickets, and I was like, you know what? I'll just add it to the shows we're going to see this year. I figured, this is going to be probably the last time you're going to see them. If this thing lasts that long, I'm gonna say, well, I did get to see Guns N' Roses, so a partial Guns N' Roses.
Well, we'll see when we get closer. If it's
would that be Guns N' Rose pedals or something?
Maybe.
But anyway.
So so you done? I got some news too.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So couple different things. Well, first of all, I thought I saw that Sebastian came out and did My Michelle. You sent that video earlier. Awesome. He did great. He did a really good job. So I was very
He's
impressed.
High energy. That hair.
And, he needed it. They needed it, and he's not wearing a wig.
Oh, hell no.
He was flipping that hair around, man.
He's one of the few that don't.
You're right. But I thought it sounded really, and he sounds really good. He does sound really good. So
Sebastian's still got it. Yeah.
I'd like for him to see him kind of get in a band that they could really start doing some stuff with, that would go out and do some tours. So I think I always liked his voice and stuff, but he's got some demons and stuff, but I think he's got them under control. It seems to be. So yeah. It'd be cool. Maybe the guys and him and Skid Row can kind of finally bury the hatchet, not in each other's skulls, but to some degree. I don't know. But so a couple things that I got. We'll talk about that in a minute. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but Bruce Springsteen canceled his concert
I've seen that. Over bathrooms.
over the fact that the North Carolina state legislature passed a law that the restrooms need to be used by people that are based on what's on your birth certificate. And he put out a whole email. You can see it. He put out a public press release about the fact that he feels like that was offensive and that people should, it's a slap in the face of the LGBT and blah, 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 blah. And, great. I hope he cancels the rest of his shows because he's mad about it. It wouldn't bother me any at all. I just don't think I've been thinking about this all day, actually, so I'm trying to figure out if I was going to bring it up or not because I'm a little pissed off about that and some other stuff with it. But I don't want it to turn into a rant. But I just think that it's fine for people to have opinions about things. It's fine for people to want stuff, but just because you want it doesn't mean everybody else wants it, needs to have it, and you have to cram it down their throat. So I think that's good. I'm glad if you don't like it, fine. Don't go there. Don't play there. I know he's making a buttload of money anyway on the tour, so he doesn't really care. But it's really, for him, it's a political thing because he's a fan of the Clintons, and the Clintons are a fan of him, and he's trying to, help them out a little bit. And I think that's partly what it is. And it's just a political thing. And good luck with that. When rock stars, to me, start playing in the political arena, I start getting very checked out.
Exactly.
Gene Simmons, he plays the middle very well. And they ask him a question, he will answer specific questions, but he never talks specifically about why one candidate over the other candidate or anything like that. At least I haven't seen it, and I'm fine with that. But there's no reason. I just don't care. I don't care what you think. I mean, that's the reason why U2 has fallen off the planet for me. If they fall off the planet, I don't care. I don't hear that stuff.
Bono can eat it.
I don't need it. So that's not what I listen to music for. So that was one thing. The other thing we're going to talk about is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame show was last night. The inductees got inducted. And it's funny. A friend texted me today and said, "Hey, have you heard anything about Deep Purple?" And I was like, they got inducted, but I don't know anything about their show. But you can find stuff about Cheap Trick everywhere. There is stuff all over the place.
Because classic vinyl classic rewind on XM Sirius Radio this weekend has been nothing but Cheap Trick.
I just think that, but they rocked it. They sounded great. They looked great. And I don't know whether I assume that Deep Purple played, but I haven't seen anything from it. So I don't know. I haven't looked hard, but I would have thought there'd been some stuff come out because, people kept waiting for them to get inducted and they haven't got inducted. But, and the
problem with Deep Purple is it was all that Richie Blackmore issue and all that. And there was just a bunch, and there's a bunch of sour grapes. And, there again, you were talking about earlier with Sebastian, hoping that he could, bury the hatchet with, Skid Row. Bunny they've been through lawsuits. He sued the band. And him and Robin, were doing this shit. But you know what? They said, what the hell? Let's go out. The fans want to see us play. And I tell you what, Bunny, from the videos that I've seen, I can't wait to see whenever they do they always cut and edit the show because it's about an 8-hour show and they cut it down to a couple hours for television. And I can't wait to see it.
It'll be on HBO probably end of the month.
Probably end of the month or so. Yeah. But Bunny sounded better than all three of the other guys put together. His drumming was just phenomenal. I was really impressed because, you haven't seen anything of him forever. And, he looks old. They all look old.
Yeah,
but no, I think the Deep Purple thing, because I don't know who got inducted. There's so many damn versions of that. Hell, Coverdale was there. And who else was there? Was Ian Gillan? I don't know. See, I don't know if he even got in.
What about Joe Lynn Turner?
And Joe Lynn didn't. I don't think.
No, I don't think he did.
Hughes?
And then Glenn Hughes did. He was there. Like I said, but then Blackmore.
Those are like the four names that I know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think the version that actually got put in there was not even the original. Wasn't it the second version? I'm talking out of my butt here because I don't have no facts to back it up.
Someone will correct us.
Well, and you're talking out of your butt, not really, because it got changed multiple times. So I don't even know how it ended up. So it could be that And
I guess Steve Miller went on a flambe too. I guess against the Rock. The whole
yeah. I read that he lit him up, but I didn't see a speech.
Yeah,
yet.
He was pissed off. Well, he pissed off basically because it's like, okay, here's here's 10, here's a ticket for you, and here's a ticket for your wife, and everybody else is $10,000 a seat. He's like, really? So it's a scam. It's a ginormous scam, is
Yep.
what it is.
You guys will be glad to know that I have seen the Rolling Stone magazine has released 15 artists eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame next year.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Lay it on us.
Lay it on the line.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Tupac.
Woo!
All right. Continue.
Mary Jane Blige.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that's rock and roll there.
Dr. Dre.
Oh, there you go.
Radiohead.
Radiohead. That's maybe.
Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Dave Matthews is eligible in 2018.
Oh, for God's sake. Yeah. Is this because they're hitting their 25s as well?
Yeah, they're hitting their 25s. There's other bands.
Lord. He's a jam band. He's not even rock and roll. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, well, the thing you need to know is the Notorious B.I.G. is eligible in 2019.
Oh, good. Okay.
I just want to make sure you know that so that you can all be aware that, that's when we quit having this show, because we're going to end up going in there and killing somebody.
Hey, Foo Fighters should be up at some point here soon.
The picture, it's kind of interesting because the picture shows a very young Foo Fighters, but it didn't mention them. So I don't know whether
they are getting really close.
Well, they only put that picture in there to get Dennis to read the article.
It's like, hey, it's a Dave article.
That's right. I saw the picture on Rolling Stone and Spotify, so I don't know whether we'll have to see if they end up being on both, or if they get inducted or not. So there you go. So that's the I think that's the news I had. I just thought
one more thing in here real quick before we start talking
Sure.
our Kiss albums. I had seen an interview here recently with Lydia Chris, and I've always wanted this book, and I didn't realize it, but she's put out a revised and expanded. I think she added 16 more pages to it, and I got this book in the mail, and I tell you what, it is incredible. I mean,
is
it's
it a
better.
hardback book?
It's a hardback book.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's basically a coffee table type book. I mean, and it doesn't fall apart.
So Kiss didn't create it.
Kiss did not. She went to an place that actually does very well at putting things together. The pictures, I mean, there is a lot of Peter in here, but there is stuff in here that you've never seen. I mean, it's stuff that this is her personal collection, and they're taken from. Here's Gene or Matt wearing a dress with his legs sticking out. So there you go. But I mean, there's pictures like say with Paul in his Love Gun costume without his makeup, and just backstage type stuff. But photos that
cool to see.
Because she was there. I mean, she was a personal close-up thing. So yeah, I think it's like $33 for the book, and if you wanted it signed, it was $30. It was like $5 extra. So I had her sign it, but no, I was really surprised, and I haven't sit down and actually read it, and read the story through it and looked at it. I've just kind of glanced through it, but from what so far, it's a really nice book, and I'm glad I ended up buying it finally.
How did you order it online, or was it
from her website? If you go to her
website, okay.
And
cool.
You just directly from her, and it took about a week, and she sent it, and it's signed, and she even put a little Kiss sticker in there, kind of cool little. I guess she had some made up. I don't know, like a pair of lips with Kiss on it.
Oh, okay, not a Kiss sticker.
I don't think it
actually.
I'm trying to think. Is it here? It must be. I think it's still downstairs because it kind of fell out, but I don't remember if it's got the Kiss S's or just says it's just regular S's. But anyway, it's a good deal. I really liked it. So if you haven't got that book, check it out. So
all right, Alan, let's roll, man.
What are we rolling? No. Old and tired here.
See, back in the day.
Actually, first album that they released without makeup, which is in my top 5. The first one without makeup that's in the top 5. In my top 5 anyway. My train of thought is derailed already. Lick It Up was released on September 18th, 1983. And regardless of what these two yahoos say, this album is badass from the beginning to the end.
Okay.
What do you think about it, Bill?
I liked it. I mean, there's a couple songs on it I don't care for, but for the most part, I liked it a lot. There's probably some of my favorite songs. All Hell's Breaking Loose is a song that I wish they do in concert. I've seen Tommy do part of it and start playing it, and I think it'd be great if they did that in concert. And I would think Paul could sing that. I don't think that's too high for him now. But there's a lot of this album that I like. There's a couple songs I don't care for. Dance All Over Your Face is something I really don't care for. Not for the Innocents, another song that I'm not that crazy about. But for the most part, I like A Million to One. I think that's a great song too. So
I think A Million to One is, in my opinion, it is Paul's best ballad.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff on here. I even like On the Eighth Day. I think it's kind of cool.
Well, speaking of
in the album,
when you speak of Not for the Innocent, have you heard the demo where Paul and Gene swap vocals on that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, look that up on YouTube.
I have that. I just haven't listened to a bunch of that stuff.
I think that's kind of cool. I think they made the right choice going with the version with just Gene's vocals for this album because that's what it needed. Because it was more of a in-your-face song than the trade-off vocals. But yeah, if you haven't checked that out, look it up on YouTube. It's there. What about you, Dennis?
Yeah, I actually I like this album. It was one of those things where I'll talk about something here in a little bit to follow it wrong. What's that? Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading. Just texted me.
Shiny object.
No.
Squirrel.
But anyway, no, I did like this album. It wasn't. It's not my favorite album. I do like "Young and Wasted," "A Million to One." I do like that song a lot. "Not for the Innocent." I kind of like that song. I'm not a big. The "Lick It Up" I can deal without, and
that's because it gets overplayed.
All Hell's Breaking.
It's one of those things where it's boring to play. If
yeah,
you're
it
a
is.
musician, it's very boring to play.
Oh yeah, it's just like so simple. But no, it wasn't. It was, to me, it was kind of a letdown after Creatures, though, because I really like Creatures, and I think that they backed down a little bit on this from Creatures. I think Creatures had that really hard and big boom sound, the drums. I don't think this one. I think it's more of an engineering difference.
Yeah, the producer changed, right?
The producer changed, of course.
Yeah,
but I did think this was a good follow-up to Creatures.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't Creatures Part 2, but it was a good follow-up.
Yes, yeah, I do agree on that. So, yeah,
I like when they did the Animalized tour. Eric Carr sang "Young and Wasted," and I really like what he brought to that song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
Of course, the ability to remember the lyrics, unlike Gene.
Really?
Yeah, funny how that works. And Eric Carr.
Right.
Mostly wrote All Hell's Breaking Loose. I think he wrote all the lyrics.
That's cool.
And another little bit of trivia for this is Rick Derringer did the lead guitar on Exciter.
Yeah, I did hear that.
So right out of the gate, they let Vinny know real quick that this is our show, so we're going to have him play. I don't know why those guys couldn't get along.
Yeah.
Well, it was the end of that tour that was the end of that tour.
Right here in Evansville.
Right there in the Ville, man.
And you're not riding home on the bus.
You ain't riding
Find you another
bus.
ride.
You ain't doing nothing. Get the hell out.
Yeah, that is something else, man.
That's some tough love right there.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Oop,
Dennis's video
Did you
looks
spill your
frozen.
vodka?
No, I didn't do anything, actually.
It looks like you're pouring something.
No.
Oh, now you've disappeared.
I'm coming back.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Are we ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, I'm ready.
September 13th, 1984 saw the release of Kiss Animalize, and in my opinion, that is one of the worst Kiss album covers ever.
Oh, of course.
That is
next to the knocker.
There needed to be two knockers on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Go ahead. You're doing the review thing. Sorry, I about jumped the gun.
You go ahead. I'm just kind of throwing out random facts out there as they pop into my head.
Well, this album had a couple songs I really liked on it, and the rest of it could just go away tomorrow. I'll be fine. So I really like Heaven's on Fire. The beginning of that song when Paul does his vocals is just, I loved that, and I loved it in concert and stuff like that. It was great. And you know what? I'd like to hear him do that now. I know he can't do it because he can't sing it, and I've heard him say, if you want to hear it, go download the video.
Buy the
record. Or buy the record. Actually, that's what he said.
Yeah.
But I really do like that. And the other song I really like off that album too is Get All You Can Take. I like the groove of that song, and but other than that,
and it's got Paul dropping the F-bomb.
Yeah, and I just like that song. But other than that, and this is when they started looking weird, and it was just, yeah.
Well, I never thought that Paul looked bad in any of these looks. He always seemed to pull the look off a lot better.
Oh, he was heavy.
It was Asylum. Was Asylum was when he was wearing all that crap on his legs, where he had the big crap hanging down off his legs, the big pieces of material
that was the Steven Tyler wannabe look.
God, I was just like, dude, quit that crap. And he played that dinky ass body glove guitar, whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. The tours all together. It was an '80s tour. It was not. It was me and 3 other people went. Yeah. So it was like,
that's when you show up in the arena and realize, wow, this is the bottom. The roller
coaster is
going down. Yeah, pretty much. Either the true fans or the young kids who've never seen them before.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, Animalize saw Bruce Kulick play lead guitar on Lonely as the Hunter and Murder in High Heels. Gene Beauvoir played bass guitar on Under the Gun, and Alan Schwartzberg did some drum overdubs. And Alan Schwartzberg also made an appearance on Music from the Elder. So even though that's
why this album's not very good. It's that dude's problem.
Yeah, blame that one drummer. I'm gonna tell you.
It's always the drummer's fault.
Yeah, one thing that I guess catches me off guard. Well, not really catches me off guard. I noticed that on the Animalize album is Gene starting at the peak of his euphemisms for sex. Because burn, bitch, burn, he puts his log in the fireplace.
Oh, yeah.
That's where all of that starts. But I will say, Lonely as the Hunter, Gene says that 80s, he didn't put out anything worth a damn in the 80s. And I think Lonely as the Hunter is one of the best things that Gene ever did in the 80s without makeup.
That's not a bad song.
Yeah. I think it's a great song. Well, he's actually got 2, and we'll get to the other one here in a minute. What do you got, Dennis?
Okay, this is where I think Kiss. I call these the lost years between this album and till the beginning of until Revenge come out. To me, I lost Kiss at that point. Honestly, I don't care for any of these next few albums. I don't. I listened to them. I had to listen to them the other day just because this show. I don't care for much of these songs. I mean, there's a gem here and there. But the problem is that and Kiss was lost at that point. If you look at it, Kiss was, as a fan, I got lost because I didn't know what direction they were going to go and all that crap. Kiss, they didn't know when they took the makeup off. I was trying to think about how to put it this week. I started listening to the Kiss originally. I heard them before I seen them. I heard the music. I was like, who is that? Oh, this Kiss, and here's what they look like. Okay, that's great. When Lick It Up came out and they took the makeup off, they're always saying, it was never about the makeup. It was always about the music. Well, that's fine. And the music was decent.
Except for today.
Right. But, yeah, until it makes a lot of more money.
Until it makes a lot of difference.
but then what happened is they were lost. Gene didn't know what to do. I mean, he went from this demon guy to, a few years later, like Mod, what I'm saying? But they didn't know. They were lost. They didn't know, they went from one record to another. And their look bothered me more than anything, I think. And just the way that they acted, the way that their personas became. And I just got disinterested. I mean, honestly, until Revenge came along, which we'll talk about, when Kiss probably looked their best, unmasked. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They actually look like a band. Gene got his identity back. Paul got it. They got their identities back at that point. But these, like I said, there's 4 albums here that if I never heard them again, it wouldn't bother me a bit.
Well,
So,
and it's interesting you said it because they don't talk about that period of time very much.
No,
I mean, when you hear them on interviews and stuff like that, and people bring that stuff up, they don't really talk about it much. And I think part of it is
Bruce is the only one that talks about.
Bruce
is the
talks
only
about it
one-
because Bruce, that was his year.
Right.
I mean, that was him.
And Bruce is he's the torch carrier of this portion of Kiss, because, like you said, Gene and Paul don't talk about it. Eric's dead. Nobody. Bruce is the only one that. And the thing is Bruce. He's a great guitar player, but he has no personality on stage. You know what I'm saying? For years, they always called him the tree, or what I'm saying? He's just like a stick. He don't move, and he just never did. I mean, like I said, he's a great player, and I've heard interviews and seen him. He's a great, nice person. I don't know. I was a lot. These are my lost years, and that's what I'm going to do. But like I say, as far as this album, there's not one song on here that I could do without. Under the Gun, maybe that's a decent song, but other than that, I no.
Well, I'm here to tell you, if you're ever looking for the most dependable Kiss-related guest on a show or
Right.
at an event, Bruce is your man.
Oh, I guarantee it, because he does. He lives this stuff.
He is prompt and he is professional.
He's very nice.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
I met him at the conventions and actually talked to him, and he'll sit there and talk to you. Him and Eric were both like that. Gene and Paul were, they were getting just inundated at those conventions, even though there was only 1,000 people there, and you went to some out too. I mean, you know how it was, but Bruce and Eric both, they were extreme, and they were there all day. Paul and Gene came in toward the end, when they had to, for the question and then the thing. But I seen Bruce early in the day. He come down and did that guitar clinic. And Eric did the same thing, but they hung around all day just like normal people. They were just, there at your disposal. Hey, ask him a question, or he is definitely super dude.
We met him a few times. The exact same experience.
Yeah.
Yep. Great experiences.
So anyway, but
right.
Yeah, I don't have a lot for analyze.
This will be short the next couple of albums in.
Yeah, I'll be quiet. I'm going to be saying very little. So.
Well, Asylum is the next album that came out on September 16th in 1985. Kiss in their September 1980s releases there, like clockwork, once a year, up until this one anyway. This one, for me, I like the album cover for this one better than the Animalize album cover. A lot of people really pan this album cover, but it's because they think it looks like a crayon drawing or whatever, but that never really bothered me.
That's kind of a crayon thing of Dynasty. It looks like Dynasties with artsy kind of look,
Well, I won't argue that fact. That's a good way to put it, I guess. Yeah. But Trial by Fire on here, track number 4, that was, in my opinion, Gene's best output in the 80s. That song is absolutely nothing but badass. And Who Wants to Be Lonely, to me, I mean, that's Paul and Bruce's defining moments on this album, because this is such a well-written song, and then when the lead comes up, it was just perfect. I don't think that you could do anything to change it in any way, make it any better. I like all the songs on this album, actually. Probably the only reason that I like the All Night song is because of the video.
Yeah. Well, and in live, they had girls, and isn't this a song during the tour they had strippers and stuff like that?
No, that was Revenge.
That was Revenge.
Take It Off.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'll get in trouble for that, won't I?
Yeah, we're gonna get everybody going.
Like I said, they all run together.
Billy's pulling his hair out this moment.
While I'm thinking about
after 40 shows, they all start running together.
Right. While I'm thinking about it, I want to give a shout out to Chris Senzak of the Decibel Geek podcast, because he's the first person that I ever heard coin the term "mod of thunder," and I so unceremoniously stole that phrase, and I will use it every chance I get.
So for me, I thought "King of the Mountain" was a great opening song, probably one of the best opening songs on an album. Just the way it started, and I thought it was a really, really great opening song. I liked Who Wants to Be Lonely. I think that's a really good song. One of my favorites. This album I liked this a lot more than I liked Animalize. But there's some songs on here that I could care less. I like Tears Are Falling too. It's not a bad song. Decent video. I mean, it was the 80s, right? So you had to have some kind of a, ballad. That was the law. So, but it's okay. Yeah.
Dennis?
Well, it's better than Animalize. I'll give you that. And with you guys, I'm going to agree. Who Wants to Be Lonely is a great song. That is that's the shining light of this album, I think. I agree with Bill too. King of the Mountain's got a great intro to it. I like that. I mean, those are those thunder drums, of the Creatures type thing. How that starts out. It's a good deal. Everything else on this album, no, don't care for it. On All Night, all that crap. Those were just, MTV just rent those for me by just playing those. And even Tears Are Falling is not a bad song. It's just the video was stupid and it was just overdone. And like I said, and there again, the look just drove me nuts. I mean, it was just the neon
Dennis
green
is just
stuff.
jealous because he can't pull that look off.
No, I'm
Not
glad.
that I could.
I don't think.
I do.
Anybody
Who Wants to Be Lonely is
It's
that's
badass. It is nothing less than badass.
Like you said, Bruce's playing is great on it, and Paul's voice is great on it. But yeah, that's what I think about this.
How about that bass on Who Wants to Be Lonely? Awesome bass line.
It's probably not Gene. It's not Gene.
Gene. Well, it is Gene, but not Gene Simmons. It's Gene Beauvoir. I guess that's how you pronounce it. He played bass and he did backing vocals on Who Wants to Be Lonely and All Night. And our friend Alan Schwartzberg makes another appearance with some drum overdubs on here.
It's just a shame, and the reason being that Gene just wasn't involved in the band at that time. But Gene is a great bass player, and it's sad that he didn't.
He wants to be. He is a
Gene. He's a monster
bass player,
and it's just sad that because later on Bruce played bass on a lot of that shit.
Yeah. Well, the last little tidbit of trivia that I have for this is Paul Stanley played rhythm guitar, vocals, and bass guitar on Tears Are Falling.
Really?
So yeah.
Well, and was this and somebody will correct this, I'm sure. Was this the first album that Gene and Paul started producing everything?
I don't know.
I don't know if it says here who.
And they with no outside Well, they produced it. I just wasn't sure if
Producer,
this was the first.
Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons.
Because that's when I think things started getting off the rail.
See, and we'll
Paul
talk
Stanley
about this.
produced Animalize by himself.
Yeah.
Right. And we'll talk about this later on.
I think that's where I think personally things start getting, because Lick It Up was not him. Lick It Up was Gene, Paul, and James Jackson. So you had an outside influence in there. But yeah.
See, and that's the problem. And like I said, we'll talk about this in our next installment. But that's the problem with the newer albums is they're producing themselves, and they don't have
nobody's
anybody
pushing them.
Nobody's there to say, hey, you know what, this song sounds like shit.
Sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to have somebody in there that's got the balls to say, you know what, this song is not good. We need to either trash it or we need to rewrite it and whatever. When you're self-producing your own shit, everything sounds good.
Well, the next album wasn't self-produced, but
no.
Well, speaking of the next album, September 18th, 1987, Crazy Nights came out. This album holds a special place in my heart because it came out my senior year in high school, and it was also one of those songs that holds a place in my heart because I got it from my first real girlfriend. So, isn't that special?
That is so sweet.
So sweet. Gene did Good Girl Gone Bad on here, and to me, that's the highlight of this album. That's a really, really good song. I did like A Reason to Live, even though it's really synth heavy.
Right.
Some of those songs are kind of out there. Bang Bang You. Wonder what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's about all I have for this album.
Yeah, well, the only song on here that I really Thief in the Night, I kind of like that song.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hell or High Water is another song that I kind of like. And the rest of it, this was the first CD that I ever bought. So I bought it locally at a local mom and pa type record store called Music Records and Tapes that I ended up working at afterwards, actually. Mm. And for a while, which I loved that job. I would take that job again if I could have it. Had a blast. It was my first CD, so I bought a CD player. I remember I had it on layaway at Sears because it was like $400.
Oh, dude, I know. I bought my first one at Risley's. It was like $400 for a single CD player, dude.
But I thought the album cover was better. I thought this album cover looked more like Kiss album covers, which I thought, it had the Kiss logo and then the picture, so it kind of looked a little bit better. But the album to me was just kind of
too synth heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the personnel on this one was Gene, Paul, Eric Carr, and Bruce. Bruce did lead guitar, keyboards, backing vocals, and bass guitar on Hell or High Water. Additional personnel included Phil Ashley and Tom Kelly on keyboards and backing vocals, respectively.
And this is the tour,
They had
right?
quite a few they had quite a few outside writers on this album as well.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Mitchell. Let me finish this real quick.
No, sorry. Yeah.
Adam Mitchell, Bruce Turgeon, Davitt Sigerson, Pete Diggins, Diane Warren, Mitch Weissman. There's a lot of outside writers on this one, actually.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And that's all I've got to say about that.
So, this album, if I'm not mistaken, is the one where they took somebody on tour, if I'm not mistaken, and they didn't pay, that played keyboards behind the stage.
Gary Corbett.
Yeah. And he didn't play every show. He only played shows they could afford, right? Is this the correct tour?
That is the correct tour.
Yeah. So there were some shows that fly him into, and some
might have been Hot in the Shade. It was either Crazy Nights or Hot in the Shade.
Yeah, I have that in my book.
Yeah.
I'd have to go look at that, but I remember reading about that. But I thought it was this tour, but it could be.
He's actually on the Decibel Geek podcast talking about some of the stuff that they pulled on him, and some of the stuff he pulled in return.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very interesting. So
yeah,
get on Decibel Geek and look for the Gary Corbett episodes to find out more about that. I won't steal their thunder.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug for my friend Chris and Aaron.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah, as far as me on Crazy Nights, there again, I feel I'll fight hell to hold you. I kind of like that song. There again, these years too, Paul made it almost impossible to go back to sing these songs now because I think every album tried to see how high he could sing. I don't know if you ever noticed that. I mean, these songs just keep getting higher and higher and higher, and he keeps pushing himself. And the thing is you don't want to do that because 20 years from now, you're not going to be able to do that. I've heard that from a lot of singers that said, "Man, I wish I'd known that shit 20 years ago because I sure as hell wouldn't sing it like that."
But that was kind of what was going on, right? So that was.
It was.
The other 80s rock bands that were out there, they were having that higher register, and really, knowing how these tours went. The number of people putting butts in the seats, the number of albums that were being sold.
Right.
Was there going to be 10 more years?
But see, there again, I think that at this point, Kiss was lost. They didn't know what direction to go. I mean, they were kind of lost, and they just kept throwing these. It's like, okay, let's throw this out and see what happens here. Maybe I sing higher. Okay, let's try that. I just, like I said, I don't think that they found their way until later on. And then, but that's, Crazy Nights. I remember I bought the CD. I remember bringing it over to a friend's house and, hey, maybe this one's going to be the one that all these guys are going to love. And I think we played 3 or 4 songs and they went, let's listen to something else, It didn't go over real good.
Like static on the TV.
Exactly.
So, anything else.
Yeah. So anyway, it was, there's nothing fantastic on here. Anyway.
That was also produced by Ron Nevison, and I've kind of heard conflicting stories about the dynamics of the recording because that's the first time in 3 or 4 years that someone besides Gene and Paul had produced.
Right.
And I think that may have had an effect on why some of those songs sounded the way they did.
Right. I think these albums too sound a little thin. I think maybe they got in. It's when the digital
Well,
shit started happening.
that was the case with a lot of bands in this time.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everything was just really
They were switching
analog.
from analog to digital, and digital wasn't there yet.
No, and this shit sounds really thin. But anyway, that's all right.
Not as thin as the 2 songs on the next album.
Oh, yeah.
Well, are you going to talk about the Greatest Hits album? Are you passing that one?
Oh yeah, smashes, thrashes, and hits.
Oh,
There's two new songs on there. You got to talk
That's
about.
right.
God.
Let's put the X and sex and rock hard.
Baby.
That's no. Can we just pass it?
Okay, we're done. Move.
Well, all I'm going to say about that is the rock hard video was much worse than the X and sex video.
We've actually promoted those 2 songs more than the whole world has in 20 years. Just
You're
now.
welcome, Paul.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, moving on to October 17th, 1989, saw the release of Hot in the Shade. The album cover didn't really make any sense to me, but because there's no shade there. But anyway, this is another album that was produced by Gene and Paul. I bought this. I was stationed in Germany. I didn't even know the album was coming out, and I was in the German equivalent of a Walmart, and I saw it, so I picked it up, took it back to my dorm room, put it in. I heard the acoustic guitar stuff in the beginning of Rise to It, and just hit stop. I thought it sounded like they ripped off Cinderella's Long Cold Winter, and it pissed me off. I didn't listen to that album for like 2 more years after that.
Now, isn't it true though that this album was basically just a bunch of demos? I mean, Gene was gone, and they just basically had a bunch of shit laying around, and it was just kind of a conglomerate of.
That's what I've heard. I don't.
That's what I've heard,
maybe
too.
it
No.
never got a proper mastering. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know, but I mean, no, I'm just saying though they did it, but I'm saying a lot of these songs were just a bunch of shit that were laying around, and they needed to put out an album, and they just said, look, here's what we got. Gene's not around. Paul, they filled in, did whatever they had to do, and put it out. That's what I heard, but that's
That's very possible.
But I tell you one thing about this thing is this tour was a great tour.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Really
I have to admit and that's the main reason I'm gonna say it. Well, we saw it. It came through Evansville, and they actually played Mesker that year, and it was a great night. I mean, it was. They had Slaughter and Faster Pussycat open for them, and Mesker. If you live in Evansville or you know about Evansville, and hopefully they'll bring it back at some point, was a great place. It's an outdoor, about a 8,000, 90,000 seat outdoor amphitheater, and they played out there. And I tell you what, I was in Nashville that day and came back that night and got tickets at the last minute and went to that show, and I was amazed because I had seen them so many times before, and this is the first time that they actually did. They changed the set list up.
It was a really long show too, wasn't it?
It was a long show.
There was a lot of
effects, and that had the Spinks with and the lasers were big at that point. They were putting those out, and it was one of those things where they had toned down the mod bullshit. This is right before that. I think this is where they started getting their shit together on this tour wise, as far as their look. I think they're starting to this is what we're gonna do. And I remember, man, Gene, he's running around. I mean, they put on a great show. Like I said, I like that show a lot. That's probably my favorite non-makeup show or tour that I've seen. And but it was a fact of too, they were playing songs that I hadn't heard for before. Everything I heard, the same set list forever, and then all of a sudden they throw something else out.
Yeah, because they started. Yeah, you're right. They started wearing stuff that wasn't weird and flamboyant.
Well, they were wearing. They went to pleather. They were doing that kind of fake leather shit.
Yeah,
the colors were the neon colors were gone. Their hair was getting longer, and it was they looked better.
I remember going to the show and thinking the weird thing was there's no Kiss logo.
till the very end.
But I was like,
so-
this is
all
the
right.
weirdest damn thing
It
I've
was.
ever seen. I was
I
like,
forgot about that. I forgot completely about
what
that.
have they done? I was like,
Yeah.
but
it was a good show. And like I said, the album itself, I did like Hide Your Heart. I thought that was a decent song. Of course, everybody did that song.
Yeah, that was Kiss, Ace
Ace.
Frehley, Molly Hatchet, Bonnie Tyler.
But I think that Kiss did the best job. I don't like Ace's version of this song. I don't.
Well, I think Ace only did that to just kind of dig at him.
that was a kind of.
And I think Forever was a good ballad. I mean, that's a good song.
That's co-written by Michael Bolton.
Yes, I mean that's why it's probably that good because Michael Bolton.
maybe that's why you like Hide Your Heart, because it was co-written by Desmond Child and Holly Knight.
Right, it may be too.
Yeah.
But
there's some, Tommy Thayer co-wrote a couple songs on this album.
oh,
Yeah,
did
he co-wrote Betrayed, The Street Giveth and The Street Taketh Away. I believe that's the longest title in a Kiss song ever.
That is
Could be.
Yeah, Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell is a pretty close second, though.
Yeah.
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 I wasn't a big Little Caesar, and I wanted to see, Eric sing, but
Yeah, it's a shame that that's the only song that
It
Eric
is.
really got to do.
It's not good.
Even
If I'm
though
not-
he did Beth on Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits, that's.
But I mean, in
good-
concert,
he
his
did a
Black
good
Diamond
job
in
on
concert. But his Black Diamond in concert was always
It
good.
was badass.
Tore it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And it's just like you said, it's a shame that Little Caesar is the one thing, the bone that they gave him. It was his last bone that he got, and it's not, it's not a good song.
I'm going to do it again.
Go
I'm
for
going
it.
to get crucified.
Go for it.
I think the opening band on this tour was Little Caesar.
That
It was a band called Little Caesar. If I remember that,
not in
when I
Evansville.
saw them in Indy.
Like I said,
That's who it was.
It may have been because it was in Evansville.
It was
It was,
Slaughter. It was Little
Slaughter.
Caesar, Slaughter, and Kiss. That's
it was
who I
Slaughter
saw in
and
Indy.
Faster Pussycat when I seen them because
Yeah,
I
it wasn't-
love.
it wasn't them.
And they were good.
Yeah.
God, that was a great night. I love that.
Anyway, it's a good show. This album to me, I mean, I like some stuff on it, but it was like, I did kind of like Rise to It. I liked Hide Your Heart. I liked Forever. I like Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell. I thought that was a pretty good song. And there's some crap on here too, man. I mean, that Boomerang song, I listened to that earlier. That is crap.
Yeah,
That's
it
just
is.
garbage.
I like the Rise to It video.
Silver Spoon is like Silver Spoon
Silver
Probably
Spoons in it.
is like Cadillac Dreams.
There's just a bunch of garbage.
I mean, that song is just retarded.
You remember they did Gene and Paul backstage putting on the makeup, having the conversation.
Yeah,
in the
that was
to It
Rise
video.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good.
Boy, that lit a lot of my friends up. Oh my God, they're gonna put the makeup back on. I just know it. Yeah, you got to wait like 6
Give
more
them a few
years though.
Yeah, give them a few years.
You got to wait till they're really desperate.
Yeah, it's just sad though that this album was that bad, but that tour was really good. I mean, it's kind of a weird deal, but
I don't know how many people saw that tour. I wonder. What the
it
tour
was
numbers-
well. They put them in Met. Well, to tell you anything, they put it at Mesker. So their top max would have been about 9,000, but I'm sure it was probably around 4,500 to 5,000. They didn't do. Hell, the last time I seen them at the stadium, they were. It was pitiful.
It was at
with the non-makeup tours.
Oh yeah.
It was terrible. I mean,
Yeah, so the
jeez.
Hot in the Shade tour was a Shed show here too. So it was at Klipsch.
Okay.
So but Klipsch holds
Klipsch
20,
holds-
17, 18,000. So
Yeah, that's a good.
that's not. But
I like the place.
we had regular seats for that. I didn't buy lawn seats for that show. So we're about to have some fun now, fellas.
Well,
Yes.
I'm not finished giving tidbits about this one, so hold your
Go for it.
horses, William.
Tidbit up.
They had a lot of outside co-writers on this one too. Bob Halligan Jr. helped Paul with Rise to It. Gene and Tommy with Betrayed. See, Halligan did a couple of more, or just one more song. He helped write Read My Body, which that's tough. Vinnie Poncia, Michael Bolton, Vinnie Poncia, Tommy Thayer, Desmond Child. Adam Mitchell helped write Little Caesar. Eric Carr, Gene Simmons, and Adam Mitchell worked on that one. Extra personnel, Tommy Thayer, acoustic and electric guitar on Betrayed and The Street Giveth. Phil Ashley, keyboards on Hide Your Heart and Forever. Pat Reagan brass on Cadillac Dreams.
What a
Charlotte
waste of time.
Crossley, well, Charlotte Crossley, Valerie Pinkston, Kim Edwards Brown, backing vocal on Silver Spoons. I did like those backing vocals on that, by the way.
Yeah.
And Kevin Valentine played drums on You Love Me to Hate You. I did not know that. So
I didn't either.
I learned something today.
Now, Kevin Valentine, wasn't he the guy that got to dress up in makeup?
That was
and
Eddie
play-
Cannon
Oh, did I get that wrong?
on the reunion
Bill was
tour.
shaking his head. Yeah, on the reunion tour. I thought
that was Ed Cannon. That was
I think
Peter
you're right.
Chris's drum tech at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that on DVD.
Well, at least you saved me from getting.
I'll have to let you borrow that sometime.
Awesome.
No, Kevin Valentine actually played drums on another Kiss album that we will get to eventually.
I'm saying, yeah, that's where I remember that name.
Yeah,
from. I knew
okay.
that he had-
I can't remember all this stuff. We shouldn't talk about stuff we don't know about.
Right.
We just have to quit
Hasn't
talking.
stopped the
I just have
shit.
to quit talking. I'll be quiet now.
All right. Now we're up to my other favorite non-Kiss makeup album.
Right.
May 19th, 1992 saw the release of Kiss Revenge. Yay, the demon is back.
They found their spot finally.
This was produced by Bob Ezrin.
Yes, which means
And
it wasn't
Which
produced by
means
Gene and Paul.
They've got somebody to say, hey, that song sucks. Let's fix it.
exactly.
And it also brought back co-writes with Vinnie Vincent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There again. Yeah.
Yeah. You know you're kind of hurting when you're bringing back the thorn in your side because
Yeah, no shit.
You know the thorn is going to be a thorn again.
But the thorn makes money for you though, and
Yeah.
helps you get
Well,
popular. So
This
there you
album
go.
didn't really do as well as they thought it was going to do.
No, it
didn't do as good as it should have done. This really should have been a great comeback album.
But there again, when you've been throwing trash out for years, you know, people are going to say, "Oh, look, and it's another Kiss album." You know, they can't. That's the problem. It'll take a while for it, and it's not till people go back and go, "Man, this was a pretty good album." Because when you throw trash at people for so many years,
They tune out.
exactly. I was the same way.
That would be
And I
my
bought-
friend Dennis.
You know, well, and the thing is, you know, even though I checked out and I was lost for a while with Kiss, I never gave up. I always bought when the album came out. You know, I wasn't running to the store. I may walk to the store, but you know, I would buy. You know, I did. I bought, and I still to this day. You know, they put out something that you know I'm not going to buy a $10,000 book or whatever the hell they're promoting this year, but you know, an album they put out, I'll buy it just because I want to just give them the benefit of the doubt. But though this was one of them that was, it's still not my favorite, but it's a lot better than the four previous.
Well, you know, to me, this was the Gene is Back album because there is not a Gene, in my opinion, there is not a Gene Simmons turd song on here.
No.
You know, Thou Shalt Not, Paralyzed, Domino.
Unholy. I mean,
I would say of all of these albums, Domino would probably be my least favorite.
It is my least favorite.
And that's only because that video is so terrible.
I just don't like it. And it's just another one of those Gene stupid
Singing
sexual
a song about an
innuendos.
underage girl.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't like it.
I like it.
I know Bill likes
No,
it.
I like the song, but I like the song least of the Gene songs.
But
Yeah.
to me, I think Unholy is the second best Demon song that he's ever done.
What's the first
Yeah, I
best?
totally agree.
We haven't got to that point.
We haven't got
You
there
wanna-
yet? Wow. Okay.
Well, no.
All right
No.
then.
What
Hate.
was that again?
Hate is the Gene song.
Oh, yeah,
That is
Well, I
that
don't know.
is
Unholy's pretty
that
good.
is
I
the
mean,
number. No, Unholy is the second. I think the second best for his persona, and the way he does it. Unholy is the second best song he's ever done for that reason.
yeah,
No.
I'd like to.
And it was up to this point, it was number one.
He could do that. He could do. He could drop God of Thunder any day of the week and do this instead of that, and still do the blood thing if he wants to. It'd still be cool as hell. But, yeah, this was for me. This is definitely. This might be number one. I love this album.
Yeah, I wouldn't go number one. But
Might be number two. Probably number 2.
It's top 5 for me.
And number 2. I every song on here I love. I loved it just finally. I just waited and waited and waited so long for them to grow a pair, and they did. I just every song on there. Top to bottom.
But you know what else helped
Even
this
even
album?
the Eric Carr jam. I mean, it was cool. That was
But
cool that they did
that's
that,
what-
and tribute
that's
thing
what
was
helped
cool.
this album, I think.
And I and the set list for the tour was phenomenal.
Yeah,
It was another one I thought was really, really good. And
you can blame Eric Carr or Eric Singer for that.
I thought it was, and they did like 23 songs.
Yeah.
Now they do what, 16,
If
17?
you're
That
lucky.
was a great.
If you're lucky.
Did you see? Where did you see that show at, Bill? Did you see it at Evansville? Or did you see
I saw this show in
You probably
Evansville,
seen
Louisville, and Indianapolis.
I saw this show in McNichols Arena in Denver, Colorado.
I tell you what,
I'm looking to see because I think I saw this show on a. Go ahead.
but at the end of the show, when the Statue of Liberty comes down, there's that big. I was like, going, that's just so fucking cool. I mean, it was, and the thing is Bruce looked good. Bruce was moving around the stage. He had his shit together, and Paul looked good. Gene looked good. I mean, everybody, they got their look. And I'm telling you what made this album and Kiss better at this point was Eric Singer. Eric Singer come in and it breathed new life into this band. I mean, Eric Carr's drumming is phenomenal. He's a great drummer, but Eric Singer, I'm telling you what, and we talked about this in our super group thing. He is just an absolute monster. And if you watch he is a technical. I mean, because I've got that one, not symphony, but the was it Millennium, whatever that one DVD is where you can look at the one person at a
That's
time.
Rock the Nation.
Yeah, Rock the Nation. Put it on Parasite and just watch him play that song.
I have.
Dude,
that is awesome.
He is just like, I could sit there and watch it all day long. He is that song is so technical anyway, and I don't know how Peter ever played that song because
Not like Eric.
oh my god! And Eric, he is just a absolute monster, and I think that's why Revenge for me is a lot better because they were a new band. I mean, they come out, and that's why we won't get to that album today. But I wish that album would have been tour because I think that was the direction they were going. I would have liked to see what would have happened, but we'll talk about that at a different.
Yeah, actually, this was only it didn't go to Louisville. The tour didn't stop in Louisville. So I saw this in Evansville and in
Indianapolis.
Indy. Yeah, but no, it was a great tour. There again, it was well, actually, it's what Alive 3 is.
That is Alive 3. Which
you starting out with Creatures, none of this Detroit starting out bullshit. Yeah, it's just a great. That's when
this album had.
Album
had. I mean, the tour had old stuff and new stuff, and it just had something from every era. I mean, it was just this is just one of the best set lists that we've had.
See, I think that started with Hot and Shade, though. That's when they said, you know what? And I think that because that tour was so well received by people, and people were telling like, man, it's so great to see your set list shooken up a little bit. I think that's why when Revenge come out and that new, we get to the Live 3, that's why. Now, what happened now? Why can't they do that again? We don't know.
I don't know.
I
saw the other night when they did that thing at the Honda Center for the people that bought the LA Kiss tickets, and they tried to play the Eagles.
That was.
I didn't see
the
that
video of that.
Oh.
It was bad.
Is it bad? This
I
wasn't
love you, but please don't ever do that song again.
Was this where they didn't have makeup on?
It bad. I just think that either they didn't practice it, or I don't know what happened. They didn't know what they were doing, or they were having mic problems. I don't know. There were issues. And at the end, Paul goes, "We probably ought to learn that song if we're going to sing it. We're going to play it." I was like,
I didn't make it to the end. I did not make it to the end.
yeah.
There again, think about it. You're fucking Kiss. Why are you doing an Eagles song? You've got a plethora, but you got a plethora of shit that people want to hear from your own catalog that you don't play. why in the hell are you doing? They should never do one cover song from anybody. Do one of your own songs that we haven't heard for 40 years. You know,
do you think people that are buying LA Kiss tickets are buying LA Kiss tickets because they want to see arena football?
No, they're buying it because
I've been to an arena football game. We went last summer.
It's terrible.
And,
terrible.
It wasn't terrible, but it's not.
Really, we seen it in Evansville. It sucked.
And it's kind of so you're buying an LA Kiss ticket because you're going to get to see Kiss. I mean, really, $100 for a concert, and you get tickets,
season tickets. Yeah.
But
I paid that for my Guns N' Roses ticket, and I'm getting football with it.
Yeah, but this is one of my favorites. I don't have this album. I have the CD and all that stuff, but I'd like to have this album sometime.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll look for it if I can find it, but I know it's like $30, and I'm not paying $30, so it ain't happening.
All right, co-writers on this album include Vinnie Vincent, Bob Ezrin, Kane Roberts, Bruce Kulick, Scott Van Zen, Jesse Damon, more Vinnie Vincent. Additional personnel include Dick Wagner's guitar solo on Every Time I Look at You, which in my opinion is the worst Paul Stanley ballad, even though it's still a good song. I really don't like it that much. Kevin Valentine played drums on Take It Off. And Tommy Thayer and Jesse Damon both contributed backing vocals to the album. And there's a lot of people on production. I'm not going to mention all of them. Never even heard of them.
Well, the good thing is it wasn't just Gene and Paul.
Yeah. That is true.
So I wonder during Revenge when Tommy did those backing vocals, was that after he filled the ketchup bottle up? I'm sorry.
I feel so bad for Tommy. Now, this is me speaking.
People can say whatever the hell they want to.
That
dude is playing in the biggest band in the world.
That's exactly awesome. Right. If somebody come up to me and said, "Hey, Alan, would you like to put on the Catman makeup and play in Kiss?" Yes. Where do I sign?
Yeah, exactly.
I would not.
Absolutely.
I would not give it. I would do the Ace Frehley part, but I can't play guitar worth shit. Right. But I would try it. But all the people that give Tommy. I mean, Eric doesn't get that much of a hard time. When the first time he put the makeup on back in 2003, I believe it was. Right. The first time he put that makeup back on, he caught a lot of crap for that.
Right.
But not as much crap because because Ace was still with him.
Right. Right. But that's what true. I'm saying is when Tommy put the makeup on, the Kiss fans just lost their freaking minds.
I think that was because of Peter and Ace.
No, I think it's because of he worked for Kiss, and he's been, he was.
If there's anybody that's ever paid their dues, it was that guy.
Oh, he's done. No, he has.
I agree.
No, I was just joking because of that, that Twitter thing you sent me earlier. That was pretty funny.
Paul Stanley parody account.
PAWL.
@ PAWLSTANLEY. Y'all check that dude out. He is hilarious. And he tags
some of it isn't right,
and he
funny.
Tags whoever's balls he's busted, because he tagged Gene and Tommy both in that.
That was funny though.
Yeah, and what would really be funny is if that was really Paul Stanley doing that.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, it would. But anyway, we're up to the last album of the night. Alive 3 was released on May the 18th, 1993, and according to this, it was recorded in Cleveland, Detroit, and Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Was you there, Bill?
Bill was there.
Bill was there.
I was
there. I didn't know that they were recording it. I would have screamed louder.
Oh, I love this album.
You hear that cowbell? That's me.
Yeah, cowbell. Any album that's got Watching You on it is a great album.
Oh, I know.
That's a great song.
Now, I have to say, when I went and saw the this tour, I went with two of my Air Force roommates, and one of them, he apologized to me the whole night because he was like, "Man, I'm sorry, but Eric Singer is just such a much better drummer than Eric Carr was." I'm like, "Dude, that's your opinion. I don't care."
Right.
And I probably bruised his arm because they started out with Creatures of the Night, and I punched him in the arm. I'm like, "Oh my God!" And then they got to the Watching You and all of that other stuff. In Denver, they did Firehouse and Hotter Than Hell together. Right. And they did several of those songs that I wish would have made it onto the Alive 3. But every time they played something off the wall, he got punched. So his arm still might be bruised, 26 years later, 23 years later, whatever.
Well, and the thing is too on the box set, that you see the concert that they got on the basically the Revenge concert. That's this concert, isn't it? I mean, that's the same of Live 3, isn't it? Basically, like on the box set, or not the box set, the Kissology, the tour of this. This is that album.
I think that the video on Kissology from Alive 3 is in Detroit.
Okay, but it's in the same. It's the
right.
same. It's the same tour.
It's the same audio. I think because the audio is a mix of the 3 different arenas, but the video, I think most of the videos from Detroit.
But like I said, that's to me.
I don't know. I don't know how many nights they played.
Right.
Because they played a couple of nights at Detroit, maybe. But if you're watching the video, you can see them go back and forth, and Gene will have 2 different shirts on in the same song.
Yeah.
So.
But what gets me is, this is, like I said, Kiss had found themselves, and I wish they would have continued from this point.
But the tour did so bad. I mean, they canceled shows
and
on this tour.
It's sad. Isn't it sad?
It's very sad.
They had finally got, but I think there again, that's from the reason from putting shit out for so many years. People were burnt, like, man, I bought Kiss tickets,
it also caused them not to do a second leg of the tour.
Right.
And it caused them not to tour for Alive 3.
Right.
So, but they only played one show in Detroit.
One show?
Well, wait a minute. That's not true. Because that's Auburn Hills. I don't see Detroit on the list.
Okay.
Well, they had to have done video either in Cleveland or in Indy.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they didn't do the same song 2 or 3 times in a row.
Right.
Because there were several spots in there where you see them wearing different clothes.
Right. You see that on a lot of stuff, though. I know.
Yeah.
On Symphony, there's some stuff on there where you'll see that, and it'll be one thing. They'll be like their makeup's all screwed up, and then the next thing you see it's real nice and prim, like they went back. It's like wait.
I think also Great White opened this tour when I saw him too.
Yes. It's Trickster and Great White.
Yeah, it was a good show.
I don't remember. Yeah, it was. That's who it was at the stadium. That's right. You're right.
I
forgot about seeing. Yeah.
Eddie Kramer produced this with.
Eddie's a good
Kiss
producer.
Produced it with the help of Eddie Kramer.
Well,
I don't know.
That's there again. And we'll talk about this on the next installment. That's Kiss's biggest problem right now is they need to get an outside
producer that's not
don't
afraid.
Care. They don't care.
They don't have to care.
It's more money. More money they get, they don't have to share it.
That's absolutely right.
Doesn't matter.
Obviously, the personnel on this were Paul, Gene, Bruce, and Eric Singer. It also gives Derek Sheridan credit for keyboards and backing vocals.
Right.
So I don't know if he did that off stage or if they put that in after the fact, because I know not all of that was. A lot of that was re-recorded.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, and they had a co-write on the Star Spangled Banner with Francis Scott Key.
Yeah. You think?
Not interesting.
No, I was looking at the track listing and
he was a rock star from back in the day. Way back in the day.
So where do you send that? Where do you send that check? Where do you send that check to?
Well, that song falls in the public domain, so
I know. I'm joking.
They got lucky on that one.
That's a good version, though.
Yeah, well,
Really was.
You can blame Jimi Hendrix for that because Bruce is a huge Jimi Hendrix fan.
Yep.
Yep. Well, unless you guys have something else, I guess that pretty well concludes episode part 3.
Which we thought this would be the end of this, but now we're going to go part 4 now.
But then Dennis, of the 3 of us, Dennis was the one that's like, hey, there's a whole lot more after Alive 3. I was like, oh, crap. So there will be at least a part 4. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
In a few weeks.
Yep. That's it for now. 80sofrock.com. Facebook.com/Ages of Rock Podcast.
Yep.
Till next week. Peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.